There's been a lot going on with both guns and with games. I'm going to start with a bit of the games right now and then go into the guns because this is just showing how much more we're crumbling as a collective society. The main thing I want to talk about on this end of things, aside from the 15-year-old in New Mexico who killed his parents and was going to go start shooting up a Walmart. Yeah, because reasonable gun restriction is tantamount to gun confiscation, so we can't have reasonable gun restriction because, no, we can't have nice things. We can't have reasonable gun restriction simply because it is, it makes too much sense, and we can't have that in this country. Oh no. Everything that makes too much sense, we have to either overcomplicate till it's not worth it, or anyways, the point is, this I found insultative on behalf of people who have been sexually molested, especially as children. Ralph Nader, a guy who at one time did make quite a bit of sense. Yes, I was a Green Party member for quite a while because my disgust for the Democrats and the Republicans isn't anything that's absolutely new. It's just more cemented in recent times. Nader called, I could care less about the inauguration of Obama. I really could. The only thing that might pique my interest is if Obama, when he was walking up, just walked up and just walked by the crowd with a middle finger stuck up, just pretending like he's just like, hate is gonna hate kind of thing. Hey, cool, great. Most of the stuff that he says was stupid, but it's when he gets to video games that he crosses a line that should not be crossed. Obama's plan doesn't go far enough on violent video game creators. He called electronic child molesters. Now, Alpha Omega Sin did a very apt video on it. Links to that as well as links to this story will be down in the underbar, but I've known people who've been molested as children. Despite my research, I don't take this topic lightly. I've known people so very damaged for various reasons, none of which I'm getting into here, who spend their lives damaged and seek to lash out against anybody who they perceive as being a part of the thing that happened to them. And to those of you who have been molested, I am absolutely sorry. Wait, why am I apologizing? I've advocated for victims. I've advocated for the people, in some cases, doing the harm, because science doesn't show that they are beyond being rehabilitated, and I think that it's not right to just throw people away because of one or two crimes. I've advocated for everybody involved in this situation, including for my enemies. So I'm not the one who needs to say sorry to you victims out there. It's Ralph Nader who needs to say sorry to you. He's saying that playing this is exactly the same thing as you being forcibly touched, you being forcibly raped. Is that insultative enough to you yet? Is that disgusting enough to you victims out there? It's not just because I like games. It's because there's no links that have been found. And I doubt, to be honest with you, if it's an honest report, that any links are going to be found should Obama get his $10 million to study the menace of violent video games and our youth, which will be a partial theme for tonight. Thank you very much, New Mexico and Nader. If there were links, if there was something that actually proved that these things are mentally scarring, then at the very least, you have a case to call these child abusers. But child molesters? Are you kidding me? Do you have any idea how invasive sexual, uh, uh, sexual acts and deviancy can be to men and women? Because remember, it's not just about, how can I say this without disgusting too many people? It's not just about touching. Oftentimes, whether it's a boy or it's a girl, things happen internally. I cannot think of a deeper violation than to be violated, whether a man or a boy or a girl, to be violated inside of yourself. Not to mention the damage it can do, and I'm not saying that it doesn't do damage. I've checked my research videos if you don't believe me. But I'm also saying that the way that these treatment programs often work can sometimes be counterintuitive because they're too overgeneralizing and very overreaching for what they can actually accomplish in many cases, and that's not good for the victims. That's not good for their mental health. But I digress. This isn't about that. This is about Ralph Nader saying that this is the exact same thing as that uncle who did that thing to you. This is the exact same thing as that family friend who betrayed your family and did that terrible, awful thing to you. This is all those grown-ups and adults who maybe took you to a secluded place and took turns violating you over and over again. And I could go on and on about how disgusting sexual crimes against children are, or sexual crimes in general. But I think you get the point. This is a video game. It's a simulated reality, if even that. This is not an uncle who has boundary issues and an unfortunate whatever they have going on that would cause your uncle or whomever hurt you to hurt you in the manner in which they did. This is a video game. You can choose to play it. You can choose to play no video games at all. And you know what? I have no beef if you choose not to be a gamer. Frankly, it's an expensive hobby, and I'm getting out a bit myself, but I digress. To equate this with child sexual crimes is nothing short of disgusting, repugnant. It's not just that it's inaccurate, it's that it's a slap in the face to each and every one of you victims of sexual crimes, that child sexual crimes, or even sexual crimes in general. That's the worst thing you could possibly say at a time when people are already saying disgusting, awful, and completely inaccurate things about the medium of video games. I may have changed a lot of my opinions and my stances on guns, though again, I'm not asking that we take everybody's guns, but I am saying that responsible gun ownership in conjunction with responsible gun restrictions are not too much to ask. And after tonight, reading the stories I've read tonight, I cannot stand here and say, oh man, any and all of these gun restrictions, they're Hitler-esque stuff. You know, they just want to round us up and put us in the FEMA work camps where they're going to have that Auschwitz saying, work makes you free, except for you don't get free. They'll work you to death and starve you to death and try to kill us all because Obama's a Nazi. This is not how rational, mature adults act. Can you understand why I'm constantly asking America as a collective to grow up, to take personal responsibility for themselves, their actions, and yes, even the parents who buy these games while decrying that it's the content makers who are at fault when you were the one who had to purchase the game in the first place. Now you understand why I keep talking about how people are not acting like rational adults here. We have people who have people's ears, who are advocating for the most immature, most immaterial things that I have seen in my life, in my 33 years on this planet, and it confounds me. It's as if we're tired of the hardship and the responsibility of being adults in an adult world. So now we want to change the playing field. We want to act like kids because we want to be kids again, because having a job and responsibilities and a car is hard. Having kids is so hard. Yeah, it is. But you know what? They can't take care of themselves. It's your job for a reason, because they depend on you. And more importantly, they depend on you to be the adult in this situation. And why am I the person who has to point out this obvious? This shouldn't be that hard to understand, to grasp, and yet this seems like pulling teeth to get people to understand that you're an adult now. You don't have an excuse anymore. You don't have an excuse for this kind of behavior. You don't have an excuse to equate something that is a choice with something or an activity that people don't have a choice in. Nader, you disgust me. If I had some sort of Green Party anything here, I would film myself spitting on it, because no, that's more than you deserve. I'm sorry, Mr. Nader. If you were on fire, I wouldn't even piss on you.